Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here with your all stuff, no fluff news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation with RPCS3, and RPCS3 got a really awesome new feature. So here's the official announcement from the RPCS3 team, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this one. RPCS3 now supports loading disk games from ISO files, and this is thanks to code submitted by Functionable. And yes, you heard that correctly, but there is a caveat. They say note that only decrypted ISO loading is supported for now. Encrypted ISO loading is not yet supported. Loading disk games from folders continues to be supported without any changes. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, but I would argue here this is a huge win for RPCS3. This is a huge major development, and this emulator just keeps on getting better and better. And speaking about stuff getting better and better, next up here we're talking about SaveState. SaveState is a user-friendly GUI application for Windows and Linux to easily back up and restore video game save files. Perfect for games without cloud saves, managing multiple save locations, or syncing your progress across devices. And SaveState just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, SaveState version 2.2 is the latest and greatest update. And this update introduces some fixes and some brand new features here and some visual stuff you might be excited about. I mean, they say right here, this release focuses on visual polish, workflow efficiency, and critical stability protections. Profiles now feature game icons. Managing Steam libraries is faster with multi-selection. And we've introduced a backup all button for global syncs. On top of that, because yes, there's more, they've added support for the Heroic launcher, and I think a lot of people are going to like that. I think the backup all option a lot of people are going to like. Anyways, here SaveState is 100% free, it's open source, and if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Azahar, and Azahar just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Azahar version 2124 release candidate 1 is the latest and greatest update. It's worth noting this is a release candidate and not a stable build. There may be bugs and issues, but what's in this release candidate is what they intend to release in the next stable build. Now, we've talked about these updates in a bunch of different videos. I mean, there is a bunch of stuff here for both PC and Android. There's a whole bunch of fixes, performance improvements, optimizations, game compatibility improvements, and even more. There's even brand new features. For example, here on PC, they've implemented, or all actually PC and Android, they've implemented emulated cartridge insertion functionality. They've implemented texture filtering while using the Vulkan renderer. They added support for secondary screen opacity while using the Vulkan renderer. And they've improved a whole bunch of different stuff. And speaking about new stuff, next up here, we're talking about the Steam Machine and some leaked pricing that has surfaced online. So we're seeing more and more of this. There's a lot of rumors swirling, and I'm not at all surprised given the fact that the Steam Machine has been announced and pricing hasn't. We don't know when it's going to be announced. We're expecting it sooner rather than later. The ongoing speculation right now is Valve is a little bit hesitant to release the pricing due to increasing RAM and storage prices. We'll have to wait and see on that one though. But there are some rumors about some brand new leaked prices. So at a high level here, there was some data mining done on a Czech retailer website for the Steam Machine, and they found a potential price listed, converted. So there may be some wiggle room there in terms of what it actually releases at. But the 512 gig model is listed at $950 before tax. And the 2 terabyte model is listed at $1,070 before tax. Now, based on this alone, I am extremely skeptical. I mean, first and foremost here, if you take a look at the Steam Deck, Valve themselves, Steam is the retailer of the Steam Deck, the prime retailer. I mean, they've cut out the middleman in a bunch of different areas. And I wouldn't expect them to change their strategy with the Steam Machine. Anyways here, secondly, it's a $120 difference for an extra 1.5 terabytes of storage, which doesn't really seem right. Now, I would argue here the rumors of this upcoming Steam Machine pricing is really making its rounds on the internet. I mean, even Tom's Hardware has a recent article saying that the 1 terabyte SKU shatters the $1,000 barrier. I would argue that $1,050 isn't shattering the barrier. It's just inching past it. But at the same time here, I mean, this is all just speculation. We're going to have to wait to see what Valve says. However, and I will say sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. I guess there's two different retailers listing this thing for similar pricing, and that is a little alarming. I think at this price point, a lot of people will not be interested in the Steam machine at all. I think a lot of people may think it'll be DOA based on these prices. Let me know your thoughts, though. Let me know your thoughts about a $550, $650 intro starting price, and then the big pricing here with $950 and $1,070. Now, with the recent price increases, I mean, everything just seems to be getting way more expensive. My guess here, my revised guess based on the current landscape of pricing, I would guess that these things are still going to start between $500 and $800, give or take maybe $700. I don't know here. I'm hoping they're as cheap as they can be, and I'm hoping that Valve isn't going to release these things at over $1,000 because I really think people may turn their heads or turn their noses up at something over $1,000. Let me know your thoughts. Moving on, and we're talking about Sega Saturn emulation with Ymir, and Ymir just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Ymir version 0.2.1 is the latest and greatest update. And they say here this patch fixes a couple of issues with the update checker, a rare crash involving the rewind buffer, and comes with the usual set of graphics bug squashing. It also includes improvements from a new contributor and a significant change to VDP1 rendering that fixes a long-standing issue with threaded rendering. On top of that, because yes, there's more, and I think some people will be excited about this one, there's UI improvements. SaveState's menus have been split into load and save sections to avoid confusion and simplify interactions. And I think that makes things a lot clearer overall. And speaking about Sega emulation, next up here we're talking about Supermodel 3 on Android. And someone seems to be tackling the Supermodel 3 emulation on Android scene with a brand new emulator called Super 3. So this is up on Reddit emulators. If you're interested, again, you know where the links are. They say, important, this application is still under development and is not yet open to the general public. We're currently polishing the final details to achieve maximum compatibility and stability. By the end, you'll find a link to our Discord in case you're interested in becoming a beta tester. Certain requirements apply. This video was recorded on a device with a Mali GPU, Dimensity 8300, with very good results. Furthermore here, and expectedly, Super 3 is an open source Sega Model 3 emulator because it's based on Supermodel. And they say here for features, it does have on-screen touch controls, virtual on-screen steering wheel for driving games, and save states, and even more. And I think this may be something to keep your eye on. And speaking about keeping an eye on things, next up here we're talking about Nvidia. And it's being reported that the Nvidia RTX 50 Super has been indefinitely delayed. Feel free to check out the article up on videocards.com, and currently this is a rumor, but I would say it's kind of believable. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. And with Nvidia, they didn't reveal anything new at CES in terms of GPUs. And there's also the rumor that they're bringing back the 3060 because of RAM shortages. And they say here the reason for the potential cancellation of the RTX 50 Super, well, there's three of them. One is overseas demand for compute GPUs is surging, so more capacity is being reserved for compute GPU production where profits are higher. The rise in memory-related products may be a long cycle issue. VRAM chips are not only expensive, but cost also affects global consumer GPU market share. And the most important point, there is currently no news of any new generation AMD consumer GPU products launching in 2026. I mean, if AMD is not releasing anything new, should Nvidia release something new to compete with AMD if the RTX 50 is already doing very well, or the 50 series is already doing very well? Maybe not the 8 gig models. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below for the RTX 60 series, the RTX 50 Super, and just Nvidia in general. And speaking about hearing your thoughts about things, next up we're talking about Nintendo and Gen AI. And holy smokes, this one's getting pretty interesting. Insider Gaming has a pretty detailed article that I'd recommend checking out for more information on the matter. And again, you know where the links are. Anyways, it's titled, My Mario Marketing Did Not Use AI Images, Nintendo says. Take a look at these images and let me know if you think they did. So here's the initial tweet from Nintendo introducing My Mario, a collection of products, games, and experiences inspired by Mario and his Mushroom Kingdom friends designed for young children and their parents. And here are the images, and someone has pointed out the image on the top right in specific. I would argue kind of yes. I mean, that's a really long part of the hand. Maybe it's just a weird perspective, but at the same time, I mean, it looks really long from the base of the finger to the knuckle. I don't know here. Let me know your thoughts about that one. And speaking about Nintendo, kinda, next up here, we're talking about Super Mario 64 on the Sega Dreamcast. Unofficially, obviously, there has been an unofficial port of Super Mario 64 that has just released on the Sega Dreamcast. And Falco says here up on Twitter, the next Nintendo 64 classic has just hit the Sega Dreamcast. Thanks once again to the efforts of J.N. Martin. There's a whole bunch of footage of this online, and I'm very curious to see what is next. I think the footage of this looks pretty good. It turned out pretty good, at least in my opinion. And last up here, this is more of just a PSA. This information has been posted a lot online, and well, it's being talked about quite a bit. And it's about Instagram and hacking. So Malwarebytes points out, cybercriminals stole the sensitive information of 17.5 million Instagram accounts, including usernames, physical addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, and more. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I guess some emails from Instagram have been sent out requesting people to change their password. My advice here is don't click any links in emails, and rather, if you're thinking about changing your password, just going into the app directly. And also, if you're changing your Instagram password, I may recommend changing Facebook as well because the apps are kind of connected. And speaking about PSAs, last up here, we're talking about Nerd Nest and the Nerd Nest podcast. If you're interested in podcasts or interested in watching more stuff with me in it, I recommend checking out the Nerd Nest podcast. So I was very fortunate to be a part of the latest and greatest Nerd Nest podcast, which is now live. Go over there, feel free to check it out. And again, you know where the links are. This one is super interesting. I mean, we talked about Steam Machine pricing. We talked about AI, GOG, and even more. There was quite a bit in there. It was a very awesome discussion. I had a lot of fun being on that podcast. And who knows, maybe I'll be on it again at some point in the future. Either way here, it's worth a watch, even for the episodes that I'm not a part of. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.